Well, I was a second behind this morning. So if you see Colonel Randall Rhodes, you tell him I was a bit late getting us started this morning. I was trying to get a score of where we stand in the Schumer shutdown. Republicans and Democrats that want to pass a clean continuing resolution, and Republicans and Democrats that don't. They want to add $1.7 trillion in continuing spending and some new spending to it. And Chuck Schumer says, when I was Senate Majority Leader 13 times, we added what we wanted and they added what they wanted, and everybody was happy. They got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But you know what? It's a new age. Republicans don't want to play that game this time, so we sit live in the Schumer shutdown. What does that mean? Well, I think it means that as we get closer to the Senate midterms, you will see Chuck Schumer fighting very hard against AOC for his seat, since they are both from New York. You will not see her as Senate Majority Leader or Senate Minority Leader, depending on where we stand. But she might win his seat, and that might be the limit of his term. Forgive me this morning, my mouth is kind of getting tongue-tied and in the way of my Parkinson's, so I will do my best to get us going. We're going to do a quick Xander Gibb Memorial pre-rehearsal. Donald Trump, you have it. Red Patriots for America, you have it. We Need Patriots, you have it. The Red MAGA Nation, you've got it. MAGA News Nation, you've got it. Boogie with the Bull, you've got it. United Patriotic News, you've got it. Conservative Freedom Defenders, good morning to you. You have it. And let's see, Conservative Patriots, fans of Ephraim Fishbacher, my buddy. He got it this morning, and that gets it to about 10 groups. So that's a good start where we are right now. So you have to decide, do you want more spending that doesn't really belong in a clean continuing resolution to operate the government? Or do you want the clean resolution to operate the government to be passed, and then they can go back to their old games of what they do? I think we're getting dangerously close to not paying them, period. Anyone in the legislative branch. We stop paying the House, we stop paying the Senate, and hopefully when the money's not coming in anymore, they will sit down and they will pass the clean continuing resolution, and then they can play all the games they want. Well, actually, they can only play games until sometime in November, because we don't pass yearly fiscal budgets for the government like we should every year. Just tell them flat out, this is how much money you have for the year, and this is how you will operate. This is what you will do. The non-essential programs are being eliminated left and right by President Trump, who has said that is what he would do. He would come to Washington, D.C., and he would bring you a smaller, more efficient government, and he would clean the swamp. We've gone a little further. We've cleaned illegal immigrants from sanctuary cities throughout the United States and other places that they have hidden throughout the United States. And that's going to continue on to the chagrin of governors like J.B. Pritzker in Illinois. It's going to continue. In Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati's already getting assistance. They've asked for it. But the police chief in Cincinnati Ohio is under hot water. She's going to find herself probably forced to get assistance to clean up their act and get back to doing what a police department is supposed to do. And others around the country will get help too. Uh, the only other thing I really had to bring up this morning is that rebranding your product is kind of getting political, only because I read a memory about Aunt Jemima changing its name, and it made me think of Maxwell House was rumored to uh, wanting to change their name to Maxwell House, excuse me, to Maxwell Apartments, and I kind of thought, yeah, okay, it makes a little bit of a laugh from a long time that the house was converted to apartments, but rebranding when it's just stupid is just stupid rebranding. For a long time we bought Aunt Jemima, and we stopped buying Aunt Jemima because they were going to call it something else, Pine Street Milling Company or something like that. And people had no idea what that was, and they had been using Aunt Jemima at the breakfast table for years. There really wasn't any reason to take it and make it political. Okay, we all knew that there really isn't an Aunt Jemima. There was a very smart lady who came up with the marketing scheme and did it for a long time. And General Mills has kept it going for a long time because it works. So why mess with it? Just leave it the way it is. You know, when you break bread at the table, you don't have to just discuss the brand of every item on the breakfast table. You can go right to the more important stuff. Ukraine and Russia, well, I'm still at the same spot that I am. I think they have lost for a while all of the land that Ukraine had, that they lost to the Russians. I'm sorry, I got tongue tied there again. But all of the land that Ukraine lost to the Russians is now part of Russia, or going to be part of Russia. And that land has everything Ukraine needs to keep. So I don't really agree to that. But I'm not in that peace process. Over in over in Israel, Hamas is still doing whatever it wants to do. Israel has gone back to doing what they want to do, even though they both have a ceasefire for a peace agreement. Now, we know that Israel and other countries have set ceasefires for years, and one violates it, then the other one violates it, and they're back. And a bunch of countries around Israel signed documents that there would be peace, that everybody would just come to having peace. So why can't we all just come to having peace? Again, we can break bread together and agree on what we agree on, and then agree to work on what we disagree on. And that's just the way it needs to be. And Hamas having the audacity to return dead bodies, hostages that they killed while they had them. I'm sorry, but that crap needs to stop around the world, period, wherever you are, whoever you are. It needs to stop. That if you're going to take a body, you do your damnedest to protect that body while you have it. You feed them, you clothe them, you do whatever, you provide medical care, you do whatever you need to do. Otherwise, you don't take them. You figure out some other way to work it out. because it's not ever going to be worked out with, even if you take more people than you leave. It's just not going to be worked out. Taking hostages is as outdated to me as war is itself. It doesn't prove anything. It just shows who has the best weaponry to win the war and who had the best weaponry to lose the war, because in most cases, both sides buy from the defense industrial complex here in the United States. So the only winner is them. You know, I don't like to rank on our defense industrial complex, but hey, you're playing both sides of the war game. So figure out something that makes war a little more the killing apparatus of people. Okay, do the Jimmy Carter idea of the neutron bomb, which I guess was designed to save the buildings but kill the people. But let's do something smarter than that. Let's do something that wrecks the buildings if that's what you're going to do, but saves all the people. Because if you win the war, you can go in and you can pay the costs of rebuilding. If you lose the war, you get your country back in some capacity. And in that area of the world, the Middle East, people like to build buildings that are just shrines to the building gods. They look better than they did before. And that's what supposedly is going down on the Gaza Strip. People seem to be looking at it as locations for their resorts. I don't know to what limit the Trump organization is one of them, so you can get mad at them all you want. But I'm sure they're looking at it, and I'm sure they have a right to do it. President Trump hasn't said if they're involved in it, which he doesn't have to do, but even if he does, his stuff is supposed to be in a blind trust. He's not supposed to know what's going on with the Trump organization, although we know he does. And we know that every other president that has put their stuff in a blind trust still knows what's going on, even though he's blind to it. But, I just don't want to hear stuff anymore. Same thing with Democrats being mad because President Trump, who has developer Trump, figured out a way to build the big, beautiful ballroom, whatever you want to call it, at the White House, a project that has been sitting there on the drawing board for 150 years because every president before President Trump wanted to build it but not use tax dollars to build it. And they couldn't figure out a way to do it. And President Donald John Trump, in the 47th time we've had a president, said, hey, I will build it. Why? Because I want to give it to future presidents as a gift. Because for 150 years, presidents have said they actually want it, but they haven't been able to figure out a way to build it. So he kicked in like $200 million of his own money, and the rest he found people to help build it. And if you're a staunch Democrat that you don't want it there, or a staunch whatever American citizen that you don't want it there, hey, make sure you make a deal with him that says, when you leave, you can take it with you. And I'm sure he will take it with him. And I'm sure he will charge you the demolition cost, the replacement of whatever's left of the Rose Garden. It was built over where the Rose Garden is because for a while, no one's really used it. I don't know if the Biden family spent any time enjoying it, but sandwiched out around the Trump family at the White House, they didn't really use it. They still called the area the Rose Garden, but they didn't use it to grow roses. And I believe that maintaining the Rose Garden was cut from the executive budget for more important things. Although keeping your roses so that they grow is an important thing. But, like I said, President Donald John Trump, who is a developer, said, here's the plans. I can build it. Here's where I'm going to build it. Here's the money to get it started, $200 million. And I will find outside of that, as my gift to future presidents, like I said, the money to finish and open it. And it's my gift to future presidents. So stop being angry, Democrats, because you're not a future president. Okay? And if you become the president in the future, then you don't have to use it. And if you don't want it there, you can try eliminating it. But you can only eliminate it for the 4 years that you might be president, or the 8 years that you might be president. But if you eliminate it and the president after 4 years or 8 years says, hey, no, I want that back, you face the cost of building it. And I don't believe that President Trump will be at your beck and call to build it again. So, go off and argue about more important things. War around the world, whether or not we should keep the Federal Reserve, which I don't think we should. We're paying a lot of things that this country landed in debt years before we were born. And we shouldn't be paying it. And they're responsible for every fee you pay, your credit card fees, your bank fees, and all those other fees that you pay. We need to get to a point where we bring down what you pay. Bring it down to a reasonable fee. Yeah, I expect that if I use a credit card of mine, they're going to charge me some fee that's reasonable because I don't spend the $20 bill that's in my wallet. I just put it on plastic, and I keep doing that. I keep doing that. I keep doing that. I keep doing that. And eventually, yeah, I owe you a shitload of fees on top of the $1,000 that in credit that you give me on that one card. And the biggest thing, like I've said before, the biggest complaint I have is that the world is against you if you owe less than $10,000 because they're not interested in helping you. They don't want to help people that have $10,000 or more in debt. If you helped everybody who has less than $10,000 worth of debt, say $5,000, $4,000, $3,000, even $1,000, if you helped all of them, it would improve the financial situation for you as well as this country. I mean, come on. Again, sit at the table, break bread, talk about what you can do right now and what you want to do in the future. Okay? Help the middle class, but be true that you want to help the middle class. Don't say you want to help the middle class while you sit on a $264 million fortune that you made off of your $174,000 plus bonuses for being speaker a year. I mean, it's impossible without major help to do it. People say when they look at that Paul Pelosi is better than anybody else. who's in that business full time because of the money that they have amassed in the time that she has been a member of the House of Representatives. Okay? So stop telling me that we need help. We need to do something. We need to stop doing something. Start telling us how you made the $264 million. Not only because you're afraid that we're going to arrest you and take you to court and you're going to get fined, and in the course of taking you to court on that, we're going to find other things and you're going to spend a lot of time in jail or you're going to visit a rope. I don't even want to hear that anymore. That, oh, this person is in trouble now, but they were 10 years ago and they don't exist anymore. I don't want to hear it, because if they don't exist anymore, we don't need to talk about the crap that they did. We dealt with the problem, or we put them in jail. We don't need to have a body double running around the country so that we think that person is out and free and whatever. Doesn't make any sense to me. You got one person in jail and you got a person wearing a mask walking around in public. What does that do? I mean, really, what does it do? And, it's going to be Republicans versus Democrats and Democrats versus Republicans for all of that crap for a very long time, because they don't call it what it is. The party that's in control going after bad Americans. They made bad choices to operate the way they did, and as a result of it, they broke laws and they're in trouble. If you broke the treason laws, you got to pay the price. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. You broke the law. Because if it was one of us that you represent that broke the law, we would end up in prison for a very long time, probably the rest of our lives, or we end up beating a rope. Because that's the penalty. And if you don't like the penalty, then work on changing it to something that makes a person understand you did wrong and you don't get another chance to do wrong again. Maybe be like Singapore. You do something wrong there, you thank the nice person, because you don't know if it's male or female. You thank the nice person for each cane whack, and then you ask for the next one. And when you try to sit down for a while, you broke the law. I mean, I think it's a terrible way to do it too, but you just don't break the law. But like I said, if you or I broke the law, we get all the penalties, and the politicians sit in the House, sit in the Senate, go from the House to the Senate, and they break whatever law they feel like. And I don't want to hear that we're going after Democrats right now, because like I said, we're the Republicans, we're in control. We have our president in the White House, we have the majority of the House, we have the majority of the Senate. Wait sometime, they'll have their president in the White House, they'll have the majority of the House, they'll have the majority of the Senate. That, as far as I'm concerned, needs to stop. The Republican majority, the Democrat majority of a group of people that represent all the citizens in America, stop making it a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. Start making it an American thing. Okay? I don't really at the heart want to see anybody deported from this country unless you earn the right not to be here anymore. You know, you come into our country, you get a gun illegally or a knife or whatever you carry, and you hurt one of our citizens. You don't deserve to be here anymore. Prison, as I've said before, we need to change it. We need to seriously change it. The taxpayers should not pay for you to be in prison because you broke the law. You should pay for it. And if you spend the rest of your life paying it off, when you get out, you'll understand that you did wrong. Whether you're an American citizen who did wrong or you're someone who came into the country and did wrong. But if you came into the country and did wrong, you should go back to your home country, and your home country can pay for you to be in prison. Which I don't think will ever happen, because you'll get off the plane in your home country and probably get treated like a god in some cases. Don't come here, get elected, and then say stupid things like, my first priority is to take care of the people of the country that I came from. You weren't elected by the people of the country that you came from. And if your first responsibility is to take care of the people of your country, then maybe you ought to stay in your country and take care of them. You know, stop coming over here thinking that you can get all the handouts and send them to the people of Somalia. You know? And if you load drugs on a boat and the president knows that it's in the water, yeah, he's going to tell the military to take care of the boat so that the stuff doesn't get here anymore. If you make stuff in this country that's bad, you know, you should get into trouble. And everything is good, and everything's bad, and everything's bad, and everything's good. You know, there are people that say marijuana is okay if you use it the right way. You know, if you abuse it, it may not be good, and it may not bring about good things. You know, I've always said, if you feel the urge to smoke a joint, you should be able to go to a business that sells joints. Has a doctor, has a nurse on staff to make sure you're okay while you do it, and you can't leave until you're okay. And you can't leave with it. But if you want to smoke a joint, yeah, go to a dispensary and sit down and buy joints, buy all the joints you want, smoke all the joints you want. You know, if you want to move up to better drugs, yeah, try it. You know, put the heroin needle in your arm if that's what you want to do, but don't leave until you're completely under control. Or don't drive yourself there knowing that you're going to have to drive yourself home. But it's the same thing with a bar. Don't drive yourself to the bar when you're going to drink and 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 drink, and then get in your car and get into an accident and hurt people. No. You know, there's other things that I could move on to, but, you know, as far as I'm concerned, don't do it to children who don't understand what they're doing, because it seems to be when they get to be 18, 19, 21, they realize they didn't want to do it. So they either got to change it all back or live the way they are. You know, don't do stupid things like decide that a team of transgendered men is going to play a team of biological women and expect that that's okay. Don't agree that they're going to shower or use the same locker room facilities as men because A, you think you're a woman, and men shouldn't use women's facilities either. And I tell the story that yes, I broke the law in Massachusetts and I used a women's room. And because I had waited and waited and waited and waited for the person to come out. And after 30 minutes, I said to the owner of the gas station, I've got to go, and I've got to go really bad. So I'm going to use the women's room. And that's what I did. And when I was done, I knocked from the inside of the women's room that said, I'm a male and I'm going to come out now. And there was a lady there who got mad at me for using, and I believe the local police were called, and I knew them, and I said that, hey, I had two choices. Pee on the floor right there, which means you probably would have locked me up, or go to the bathroom. And it turned out that an employee of the gas station tied it up for 30 minutes, and when he came out, said he was on his break, and that's the only place he figured he could take his break. You know. So, I mean, if you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes in life. That's one of my favorite things to do on Facebook, is when people do stupid things to me, they win stupid prizes. But try to enjoy life. Get up at 8:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Drink a cup of coffee with me. Tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods, because I want to know, because I can't be everywhere. I can't read everything about every place. That's what I want to know. If I'm by myself, it'll be about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. We're at 33 minutes now, but generally it's about 30 minutes. If with other people, it's maybe an hour. Still try to reach 30 minutes, but you can't reach 30 minutes with more than one person, because making sure everybody has a chance to speak and people don't get mad at each other for speaking, that takes more than 30 minutes. So it might be an hour. Might even be more than an hour sometimes. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Adjust yourself accordingly. And selected Saturdays at 10 a.m. What that means is, if I can do it Saturday at 10 a.m., we will do it. If I can't, then I won't. Sundays, we don't do it. We don't do anything because I don't want to do it on Sundays. I'm getting ready for Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Selected Saturdays at 10 a.m. and very, very, very rarely you might see us on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I made a decision that it's not just getting everybody together and doing a broadcast. If we don't have a reason for doing a broadcast, we won't be there, because there's plenty of stuff on Facebook and on YouTube for you to watch, and there's plenty of stuff on other social media networks for you to watch. We just don't want to be on just to be on. Anyway, I'm Dave Golovin. You're not. Go make it a fantastic Wednesday. Yesterday was I Shot Tuesday. For those of you who don't know, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, stick a needle in my eye. That's what they do. But it is not as bad as it sounds. They numb your eye, you don't feel it, and this much, if you can see it, this much, a very minor amount of the needle is what goes into your eye. And when you see the flow of the liquid, and you do see it, you know it's done. And actually, because I like to watch things that are odd, it's actually calming, relaxing, peaceful to see that medication, Eylea, flowing on the inside of your eye. Because you know that your macular edema, which is what I have in my right eye, is being treated. And the right people are treating it. Because I couldn't sit here and give myself a shot of it. You know, wouldn't say, hey, Donna, please give me my shot. I would if I had to. For me, I had Coats disease, which is a tumor. They fried that puppy good with a laser, and they said later in life it's possible that the same blood vessels would be weak and start leaking again. So they put Eylea into my eye, dries it all up, and in 8 weeks, they do it again. And I decided to do it and be good while they do it, or as good as I can be while you're sitting there waiting for them to jab a needle in your eye, because I don't want to give up sight. I mean, I could function with one eye, but yes, I don't want to give up my sight. It would be hard to do what I do, a lot of things that I do. So find your car keys, plug your steering wheel and your pedals into your computer if you can. I can on mine. And take yourself for a drive today. Hug your wife, kiss your wife, hug your family if you get a chance to see your family today, or talk to your family today. And at 11:11 a.m., wherever you are, 11:11 a.m., text your family. Text someone in your family. Just say, hey, I was thinking about you. And you probably will come up with so many people that you'll spend the rest of your life on your phone or device, because you'll have left so many messages in the course of the day that they'll all get returned, and you want to return them back. You'll spend less time on social media, which might not be a bad thing. A lot of us spend too much time on all the social medias, but some are better than others, or think they're better than others, but it's all probably the same thing if you look at it. Anyway, 38 minutes and 47 seconds, 39 minutes, so we went 9 minutes over this morning. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, then come by and tell me your view of whatever it is I'm talking about. You can do it in the live chat on my Facebook profile. You can do it in the live chat on the Boogie with the Bully YouTube channel, or you can ask for a link, which I will send you for no additional charge, and we can talk about it together. And I promise that no yelling, no screaming, no over talking like I have been known for doing before. Plus, if my wife is sleeping, I don't want to wake her up, so I want to keep it quiet anyway. But that's what we're doing here in the Globin House today, just having a peaceful day and doing all the things that we need to do. Donna and our daughter-in-law will be at a craft fair at the, I'll tell you about it later. But speaking about that, I did find a few more minutes to go. This is what they do. They find beautiful items out of crochet. And if you go to the Family Treasures Facebook page, you go to Donna Jean Creations, and Willow's Creation Corner. I'll make sure I say it right. And you don't see what you want. All you do is leave a message for them, and they will contact you, and they will make what you want for you. Custom orders are greatly appreciated too. they'll even tell you where they might be so that you can pick it up and maybe still find more stuff that you want. I just want everybody to be happy. They do make great stuff. Like I said, I cleared my desk off yesterday, so all I have is Cupcake, the eagle, on my desk this morning. But they can make beautiful things. They can make pumpkins for October and make you happy. But they can do just about anything. I'll have some more information, or you'll see the flyer on where they're going to be Friday and where we are going to be on Saturday. And if you're in the area, come by, take a look around, and hopefully you will find the craft item, the crochet item of your dreams. That's about all I can say. Anyway, now it's 42 minutes after, so I've covered just about everything. Watch everybody. That's what I'm going to tell you this morning. Just watch everybody. If you don't like them, go to someplace else and watch them. Okay? You do want to watch the Jim Price Show Daily Update. He makes me laugh every time I watch it. So, and he makes me cry sometimes. And then he makes me laugh and cry at other times. So watch the Jim Price Show, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Facebook side. Don't know enough about what goes on the YouTube side for you to watch over there. Anyway, you know who to watch. You're probably watching them right now anyway, so let me know who you watch. And we can plug them. And if it's your 100th birthday, happy birthday. If it's not your 100th birthday, happy birthday too. And let me know about that. Then there's a lady named Lisa that we watch. Happy to Hook Crash. Tongue is getting in the way of my mouth. Happy to Hook Crochet. We watch her on YouTube a lot. She says, if it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to both of you. So if it is your anniversary, happy anniversary to both of you. And if you tell me of an upcoming anniversary or an upcoming birthday, I'll make sure I plug it on Boogie with the Bull. And if I can, maybe I'll even try to get you to come on and talk about your birthday, especially if it's the 100th birthday. Been around for a long time, seen a lot of things, and could probably teach me a lot of things that I would enjoy. Anyway, double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is finally coming to an end. We'll come up and hit